Follow the money.
That's what I always say. You always follow the money.
Yeah.
This is Follow the Money with Mitch Moss and Paulie Howard on VSiN.
Paulie and Dustin, Mitch back on Wednesday. Follow the Money. Round 2. Right into it. Sixers and Knicks. How things can change in less than a week. And Philly after the epic comeback. Short turnaround. But it seems like a lot of points, though. Knicks 7.5 tonight. 213.5 the total. And there's some great props here we'll kick around. Will a team rally down 2+ games? Also undefeated at home. But the Garden's going to be rocking. And the Knicks, after sky was falling, down 2-1 against Atlanta, now favored to win the East and get to the finals for the first time since '99. The big question I have is, will this Cat, who was a facilitator and distributor and using them at point center, can this continue with his assists as he has averaged 3 a game for his career? He had 26 dimes in the last 3 games against Atlanta as they pulverized him down low, and OG was so good as well.
Yeah, and Embiid's in his head. We see the post on social media where he's called him out in the past. 2 games against Philly with Embiid this year. Cat had 10, 6, and 1 in 16 minutes, fouled out of that game in 16 minutes. The other one, 23, 14, and 2. Not a whole lot of facilitating, but I think if the Knicks are going to be successful, they have to have his confidence high. So I do think Cat is a guy they look to early to try and build on that and potentially go up against a guy in Embiid who, by the way, is probable, listed with a hip. That's actually a new one for him. It's not the knee. It's not conditioning. It's not the appendix. Now he's dealing with a hip injury, but he is probable for the matchup. I just think you're asking a lot for a guy who's not really built for this point in the season to have his conditioning up, to have 1 day off or rest in between Game 7 and Game 1. Knicks are totally rested. I would make him run all around the court tonight and tire him out early.
So you were looking at game leaders, and we both like OG over PRA. He's 18-1 at Will Hill to have the most points tonight.
That interests me. Just because, look, Jalen Brunson plus 150. Sure, he could do that, but Jalen Brunson's had some up and down moments, and I think with Cat doing more facilitating, maybe that just takes the ball out of his hands a little bit. Embiid's plus $1.70, sure, absolutely it could happen. Maxey plus 250, I'm intrigued, but is that enough juice? Anunoby 18-1. If you go back and look, this guy's a 20-point scorer in a lot of aspect, and a lot of these big games. Is that going to be enough, though? Is 23 to 28 points, is that going to be enough? Where both teams have plenty of scoring options.
Nick Whalen likes the series over 5.5 games. Can't quarrel with that assessment.
I agree.
I see how much home court matters, and Nick fans, Embiid already talked about it. Don't sell your tickets to Nick fans. They took over 2 years ago when they met in the playoffs. So you can bet over 5.5 games or if it goes the distance. But the other one is, this is very good up at DraftKings. How many games will the Knicks lose in the playoffs? And also, how many road wins will happen? The Knicks are 7.5 losses in the playoffs. If you how they do in this series, and then how many games they would lose in the Eastern Conference Finals en route to get to the NBA Finals if that happens.
Now, from a covering perspective, they were one of the worst road teams against the spread during the regular season. So I trust them much more when they have home court. I trust them more at Madison Square Garden versus going on the road. And to your point about Game 3 in Philadelphia, this is according to TickPick. I don't know how legitimate this source is, but I'm just putting it out there. 56.11% of purchases for Game 3 tickets have a zip code from New York and New Jersey, but you have to keep in mind, half of New Jersey is basically Philadelphia suburbs. So not exactly sure how it's divided up, but 54% zip codes from New York and New Jersey. If they can turn that place into an extension of Madison Square Garden, it can make things really difficult again for Philadelphia.
Yep. Maxey has killed the Knicks.
Killed him.
And OG is also 5-1, most threes. PG is 6-1, as he's been dynamite in the playoffs. Edgecombe is 10-1 for most made threes tonight. Will a team rally like Philly did, down 2+ games and win the series? So did Detroit. Philly's 10-1. The Knicks are 11-1. Undefeated at home in the series. Knicks plus 135. No way I'd take that. Sixers plus 425. To never lead the series and win. Knicks 12-1, Sixers 14-1. Those are up at DraftKings, and I know you like Will Hill's app and what they offer. They rally from a 20, 25, or 30-point deficit at any point and win a game in the series. And you also have individual stats on these guys. someone will go off. Will Wemby score 50 in a game, 20 boards? Ant and all those guys, SGA score 50 in a game. That kind of stuff is up as well. But going to be a great series. But now, I mean, you got to do it a little bit with Mahoney. It is bizarre that, number one, you fire your coach after you go to the conference finals, and 2 years ago you built this roster to beat Boston, and now you don't see Boston.
Again, 2 years in a row. They had Indiana last year. Now it's Philadelphia. But theoretically, it all should be the same. If we go back to last year, remember, the Knicks were beating the Celtics before Tatum got hurt, right? Tatum got hurt at the back end of the game, but it was already over. Who was the key component in their success? It was Mikal Bridges in the defense. So they're going to need Bridges' defense. I don't care about the offense. I don't care what he does as a shooter. I just need him to limit Tyrese Maxey if I'm the Knicks. That is the whole objective for that guy in this series. That's why he was brought in. If he does that, people stop complaining about all the draft picks that they gave up for him.
Yeah.
And I think that is the key to this whole series. If he slows down Maxey, the Knicks win this thing. Your prop about a team coming back down 20, I would look at one of these series for either of those teams to be the option. That's Minnesota and San Antonio. Both of them had massive deficits last series. Portland looked like they had a couple potential wins against San Antonio. Minnesota punked Denver a couple times there. That would be the series where I think that could potentially happen. In terms,
what are you looking for a price? Give me. What do you think?
Ooh,
20-point comeback is 5-1.
Okay,
25 is 12-1.
Ooh.
I mean, the Spurs really play with their food.
They do.
They screwed around in that Portland. They were down 18.
The Knicks kind of do too at times, though. The Knicks play with their food too. If they give Philly a little bit of a head start, and then we saw Cleveland. Cleveland came back yesterday in Game 7. Yep. They were down big in the first half to Toronto and wound up winning that thing.
2 years ago, Memphis was down 30 and beat OKC was down 30 to Memphis and won. Could the Lakers be up 20? No chance that happens.
Can I bet the Lakers will never be up more than 10 points in that series? Here, let's frame it this way.
That did not go well this year.
When I looked at the series odds and saw OKC was minus 1,600, I was like, why not mine? Like, you could set that number at whatever you want. You could set the Lakers. If I was trying to just steal people's money, set it like 100-1 for the Lakers to win that series. Outside of
they can't have the same odds to win the title as the Sixers. That's crazy.
Outside of the Thunder forgetting which day of the week the games are on, tell me how the Lakers are winning that series.
Yeah. To your point, 4-0 during the regular season, average score 125-96, and we're not going to see Luka, but we will see Ant. This is incredible. He is playing in Game 1. FanDuel opened the Spurs minus 3,000 and Minnesota 13-1 to win the series. With the Ant news and other people saying that's way too high, Minnesota is now plus 330 at DraftKings to win the series. The Game 1 line got as high as 14.5. It was down to 8.5 right before the show at Circa. The Spurs are now 9.5, 220.5 the total. The Sumu's out, but Ant's going to play. He did light up the Spurs in the regular season, and they won 2 of the 3.
Yeah, he dropped 55 in one of them, averaging almost 37 points per game against San Antonio. Won the regular season 2-1. So Chris Finch, under head coach. He's probably the most underrated head coach in the NBA right now. That he's been to 2 Western Conference Finals, and no one talks about him. 6-3 to the under in the first game of a playoff series. And Mitch Johnson right now in this playoff run, his first ever, 4-1 to the under. I love the under. I bet it under 217.5. He can get a 219, a 220 out there earlier today. I still like the under at these numbers. I mean, I don't care if Ant's back. I don't know what his impact's going to be. And speaking of unders, the other under I really like is Randall. Under, It was 31.5 PRA when I gave it out last night on cashing out. It's now it's 29.5. I think this takes a lot of facilitating away from Randall because Edwards may not be able to get to the rack like he normally does. Maybe he doesn't have that burst. So he might be passing the ball a little bit more. I just think the ball's in Randall's hands a little bit less here. So I like the under on Julius Randall, under on his PRA.
Undefeated at home, Spurs minus 230. OKC minus 240. They expect a blowout, but they were the number 1 3-point shooting team in the first round of the playoffs. 4 different Spurs shot higher than 40% from 3, and Minnesota won't have the success getting to the basket and the rim like they did against Denver. Denver atrocious defensively, and you got the alien down low and how good the Spurs are with their top 5 defense.
It's last call, Paul. Last call. Oklahoma City minus 145 to win the title.
Yeah, I know.
We get a game or two into these series. We start to figure out how we're looking. You're going to be laying $2.20, $2.50, $3, $4 by the time this thing's over. I love San Antonio. I know they had their number in the regular season.
Well, that would be, who matches up well against them in the remaining teams in the East?
And this is the thing. This is so much is on the shoulders of the Spurs. They are your only chance on May the 4th. Obi-Wan Kenobi, you're my only hope. Our only hope to take down the Thunder this year and them not go back-to-back is San Antonio. The irony of that is if San Antonio gets the finals, who's had the Spurs number this year? The Knicks. The Knicks beat them in the NBA Cup. Wouldn't Adam Silver love to say, look, the NBA Cup matters. The two teams that were in it this year for the title are in it for the championship to hoist the Larry O'Brien. If we want it to be a wide-open NBA Finals, we need San Antonio to knock off Oklahoma City because there is a chance that the Knicks might be able to take down the Spurs.
Tip jar tomorrow. Looking forward to it. We're around closer. We're almost there, guys. Your Avalanche tickets, your OKC tickets. How about someone sent in an exacta? Sixers, Spurs, the finals. You have life. That thing can happen.
Crazy.
FTM at vsin.com. If you got Sixer tickets from like a week ago, 200 to 1 to win the East, you are living right, and you got a chance. FTM at vsin.com or tweet at us as well. Send in your plays with your parlays. Tip jar's open. We'll do that tomorrow on the show. More incredible numbers on OKC and the Lakers and some props you won't believe. We'll get to with OKC and their dominance coming up on Follow the Money. Sirius XM Channel 158 downtown where it all goes down at Circa. Let me get your attention real quick, podcast listeners. I've got something for you that almost feels too good to be true. First, credit where credit's due. If you're listening to this podcast, you're already leveling up your betting game. You're riding along with our best bets and top angles. And when there's a good game on, you're getting involved with a few props and alt markets as well. There's one more layer if you really want to step things up, and that's VSiN Pro. I've mentioned it before, but things are only getting better for our pro subscribers. We just rolled out our MLB prop projections, breaking down some of the best edges across strikeouts, hits, home runs, and more. And that's on top of everything else pro subscribers already get, including public betting splits, expert picks, and betting guides across the sports calendar. If you haven't tried it yet, stop sleeping on it. You can get your first month just $9.99 or save big with promo code POD26 on the annual subscription. Hit the link in the description and start cashing in with VSiN Pro. All right, back to the show.
This is Follow the Money on VSiN.
We'll get to the other series and great props and creative stuff with OKC, but Dustin made a good point also because Ant can't be priced. He's got to be rusty, and you're unsure about how aggressive he can be in the explosion. Coming back and missing that time, that he's the second choice tonight, most points in the game, and he's the favorite for most threes. I think this opens it up, game leaders, because I just mentioned how strong the Spurs are from three. And if you're going to fade Randall and you're unsure of Ant, maybe you can look at McDaniels or you can look at someone on a big price with San Antonio because Nick Whalen was making the case for Fox, and I don't hate that. Fox over made threes, but he's got a juicy price, 12 to 1 for most points scored in the game tonight.
Yeah, look, Wembanyama, pretty good numbers against Minnesota during the regular season, 34 points per game, but it's the playoffs. You've got Gobert. We know he respects Gobert. French on French crime going on in this series. I'm looking at Minnesota defensively. They're so good on the perimeter, but they did allow the 8th most points per game to point guards. That's why I'm intrigued by Fox. I bet him over 17.5 points.
He's 12 to 1 most threes also.
I believe he had 25, 12, and 25 in the regular season against them. 12 to 1 to lead the game in scoring. I think there's a world where, one, Conley on him. We talked about that earlier. You got an old guy guarding him who you actually traded during the year and was cut. And then secondly, if it's Edwards on him, how is Edwards going to hang with a shifty, speedy guy like De'Aaron Fox? I might take a little, just for funsies, little nibble on De'Aaron Fox, 12 to 1 to lead the game in scoring.
Okay. Champagne plus 750. Most threes tonight. And again, the Spurs 4 guys shot over 40% from three in the win against Portland. But how this number is shifted with the Ant news is incredible, and everyone wants to see OKC against San Antonio, but see if Minnesota can ruin the party and the fun. I'm with you. It's unfortunate with the Luka news. I don't know how it would have gone anyways if he was healthy, because the last time they played, they were down 30 when Luka and Reeves got hurt. But thank God it isn't the Rockets, who scored 78 points. You got Scott Foster on the game, and you score 78 points at home in a must-win. And the Lakers, great job. They were 5-1 to win the series. Everyone counted them out with the injuries, and they beat them in 6. Is Udoka back next year?
I was going to say, do you concur? Ime Udoka should have been fired before Jamal Mosley.
Not bad.
Like, how do you not have any offensive game plan? And
there's no strategy.
They don't even run sets. They don't run plays.
Nope.
And then when they needed offense, see, I'm sitting in for Mitch today, so I'm doing the same takes because I agreed with him on it. Reed Shepherd's on the bench. Why was Reed Shepherd your only hope of creating something? It may not be pretty, but you can't have Tari Eason standing in the corner waiting for someone to throw him the basketball to shoot. You got to run something. This guy's been making questionable decisions off the court, now on the court. He was exposed by J.J. Redick. J.J. Redick, significantly better head coach than Ime Udoka. Words nobody thought were possible to say about 3-4 years ago.
Absolutely. And I mentioned that stat where 24% of their shots occurred with 6 seconds left on the shot clock in the regular season. Durant to return globally, plus 250.
Can't do it.
Got to move him?
He can't do it. And now this is one of those legacies.
Played one game.
It's one of, but you know what? He was pretty durable in the regular season. I think he only missed 4 games this year. And I think wherever he goes, there's gonna need to be a real alpha in that locker room that is the number one guy, so that Durant can rest during the regular season. I know everyone hates hearing that, but sometimes load management's a good thing, and he's like 40 years old. So I would imagine that Kevin Durant's going to look around that locker room and say, my best chance to win one more title. And if anyone needs a title, like there's not many people who've already won a championship that desperately need a second. Durant needs a second one and needs to do it without Steph Curry. Or talk to me about this. You know, is there a world where this league's getting younger? All these other teams are looking like threats to the Golden State dynasty. They have one last hurrah on them. Can Kevin Durant weasel his way back to Golden State with
no way
a very cheap LeBron James in the offseason?
No way.
And they run it back double ARP style.
No way. LeBron's got to stay in L.A., but Durant's not going to go to Golden State.
Oh, you think he's staying with the Lakers?
I think there's a chance he can.
No. You have to take your organization back. You can't let him to continue to run things. Unless he takes the league minimum. But if he doesn't go to the Lakers, who wants LeBron? That's the question, too. Who's bringing him in?
KD to return plus 250. Durant next team. Pistons 3-1.
Yep.
Miami Heat 4-1. I watched the Godfather's end of the year press conference. I love Riley, but he's still stuck in the 80s. But he said he's going to try to get a big name player. That they tried to get Freak at the deadline. Milwaukee didn't play ball, but 4-1. I don't hate that. 4-1 to go to Miami. They have to do something. 4 years in a row they've been in the play in that type. That's no good.
Those feel like the best destinations. Though I would normally look deeper down the board, but I think Detroit desperately needs someone to take some of the pressure off Cade. And really, Kevin Durant, at this point in his career, he can still create shots, but it's also you can give him the ball with 8 seconds left on the shot clock, as you mentioned, and he can turn chicken S into chicken salad for you. So I think he's the perfect fit for Detroit, but Miami, they probably have the pieces to make that move happen.
Here are these props with OKC, and it's imperative that the Spurs can close this out early, too, if they can win in 5. Because OKC's probably going to win in 5 or probably sweep the Lakers. Yeah. Now, this is a lot of juice, but OKC to win every game at home in the series, minus 240. They'll be laying 16 points in every game.
There is
that's
you can't say something's a 0% chance, but it's as close to 0 as you're going to get. The Lakers, this version of Rui Hachimura is going to go on the road and help the Lakers in a win at Oklahoma City. No. I think people are.
Well, they couldn't score against the Rockets. What are they going to do against, even with Williams hurt, what are they going to do against the Thunder?
It's the best team defense I think I've ever seen. I mean, perimeter, underneath the basket, what Chet brings to the table with his length. Yep. Because if you think you have a look at the rack, Hartenstein and Chet are just like 2.5 steps away from just altering the course of your shot. So I don't see how the Lakers, DeAndre Ayton, what we just saw last series, you and I were joking about
I couldn't believe it.
He couldn't catch the basketball 3 weeks ago. Now, all of a sudden, he's eating up the Rockets. It's going to be a very different game against this Oklahoma City front court.
Got me on that prop. He had the most rebounds. He exploded. Games lost in the playoffs, 4.5 under minus 130.
Okay. You got...
oh, boy. What?
I don't...
The Spurs had their number in the regular season.
Okay, but whoever they face in the East, they might sweep.
I know.
Although, let's be fair.
I give the Knicks a game.
Indiana took them to 7 last year. Can we explain that one? Is that just attrition? Is that tired legs?
Yeah, that's a good point. Denver took them to 7 too.
Yeah. So, I mean, there's a world where...
Wow.
4.5... They're definitely not going to lose maximum 1 against the Lakers. Next series against the Spurs... They could lose 3 against the Spurs.
They're not losing that bet if Minnesota shocks the world.
Yeah, true.
Because OKC didn't have any problems with Minnesota.
True.
To sweep the first 3 series is plus 850. To sweep their way into the finals, to go undefeated in the playoffs is 35-1.
They're not sweeping the next round. They might sweep this round, but they're not sweeping the next round if it's San Antonio. Yeah. San Antonio's, and let's also give Wemby credit. It's usually hard for these young players, especially some of the foreign ones, to embrace like what it means to be a champion and what it means for your legacy. He wants all the smoke. I give him credit. He's putting it out there. He's taking a stance. He's become a leader in that locker room. He's not playing around once they get the Thunder. We may see a level of Wembanyama that we haven't seen yet.
I hope so. That would be fantastic. And the other series, the Cavs and the Pistons, starts tomorrow. This one's tough because earlier we did the trust. How do you rank the teams in the East? But I have to have the Cavs last. And I know the Pistons were lucky to beat Orlando, the 8th seed. You finally got little help. Harris played well. Jenkins played well. But I have to have the Cavs last because, number one, you have Harden on your team and it's the playoffs. Number two, Mitchell has never made the conference finals. How the hell did you go 7 games with a team that you were heavily favored against, and they were down 2 starters in the series?
No Quickly, no Ingram, and a no-show. Jared Allen has to be your go-to guy in a game 7? Like,
I know.
That's not how we draw this thing up, guys. You got 2 superstars in the backcourt. I really don't understand what we just saw in critical moments from them. We know the transgressions of Harden. It's pretty clear this always happens. To me, it's not even the lack of scoring. It's more the lackadaisical effort with the basketball, the sloppy turnovers where he's treating it like it's just a game in the middle of November that nobody cares about when really there's a lot on the line here for everyone involved. Detroit isn't better player for player. Cleveland's deeper. Yeah. Cleveland has more scoring options.
Yes.
Jalen Duren, we don't know when he's going to show up in the playoffs. Yet with all of that, I still would back Detroit over them at minus 120 to win the series, and they're not the better team.
I like the quote where Orlando made us look in the mirror.
Stop.
Well, it's not bad.
I mean, I get it.
But you're also down 24 with your season on the line against a team without their second best player, too.
But it's the opposite of the mentality we saw all year long. They took every game so seriously. They were the 1 seed for a reason. They didn't mess around. They had this killer mentality going back to the playoffs last year, and that wasn't there until game 7.
Yep. Here's another one. To win every game on the road, just in the Lakers. OKC's even money.
Oh, I like that.
But that probably only 2 games. Sports calendar never stops. Sharp Plays covers it all. Documented, logs posted publicly, sharpplays.com. That kind of transparency is rare in this industry. Respected, watched, and feared. Start winning with them at sharpplays.com. I've seen enough. It's over after 1 game. Stats you will not believe on Carolina.
This is Follow the Money on VSiN.
Round 2, Stanley Cup playoffs. Vegas opened a $1.60 favorite against Anaheim. It's up to $2.10 at DraftKings. They're $1.60 tonight, total of 6.5. Loser with Utah. Somehow Vegas won that series in 6. They were excellent in Game 6. Vicious beat if you had the under. But as I read before Game 6, in NHL history, there have been 29 instances of a team trailing in the third period in each of the first 5 games of a series. Of those 29, 28 were behind or had already lost after 5 games. Vegas was leading the series, and then they won in 6. So the epic comebacks, the late goals, shorthanded crap, Utah's got to be sick to their stomach. But I have to ask the question, how good are the Knights? And then Anaheim, no one gave a chance to, and how bad they played down the stretch, come in after they ambushed Edmonton and were 50% on the power play and scored a ton of goals in what figures to be a high-scoring series when I have to question Hart in the goaltending with Vegas.
Oh, you don't know where you're going to get in goal with them. It feels like this whole series, you got a bunch of young kids for Anaheim. They're going to play free and loose. I think they had a huge exhale against Edmonton. You saw it in that series when they got up early. All of a sudden it was like, oh, we actually belong here. We can play with the great Connor McDavid. And it helps when you got a champion on the bench who's won 3 rings as your head coach. But to your point about the comebacks, Ducks led the league in comebacks during the regular season, also led in third period comebacks with 12. Golden Knights had 21 comebacks. This is the ultimate in-game series.
Yes.
A team's down, take the plus money. Team's down, just keep going back and forth, and you'll probably end up winning in the end.
Well, like we saw with you in the Utah series, though, Vegas, they're number 1 in third period goals and second in fewest goals allowed in the third period. How they turn it on to dominate the third period. Every game was 4-3, and Anaheim won every game, and Wild Bill comes back for this one as well. Carlson returns for Vegas after he got hurt against the Ducks in November as well. So read Jonathan Davis with his Cheesecake Factory menu plays and everything he gives out. He's so good with the numbers and his plays up there at vsin.com. And I think I've seen enough. I love the story with Philadelphia.
Oh, it's over.
But minus 650 adjusted series price. They jump on them early. They win 3-0. Anderson has been incredible with his goals against of 1 so far. They're the first team in the playoffs since 1986. They haven't trailed in their first 5 games. And Stankoven, with what he's doing, scoring the first goal in all these games, and he scored a goal in all 5 games. He scored first in 4 of the 5. The Flyers haven't scored a first period goal yet in the playoffs. And the alt-under, again, is 6 minus 160. And he had no problems cashing the under 3-0 Carolina in game 1. What's the case for the Flyers here? Especially when they're going to fall behind.
Well, do you think they can play at the pace that Carolina wants to play with? Like it feels like Carolina wants to be a little bit more frenetic, a little bit more fast-paced, and Philly's just not ready for that. They had a ton of turnovers in game 1, super sloppy. Yeah. A couple of them led to goals. And then Anderson was awesome in net, a 3-0 shutout there. Apparently, Tocchet said he's going to mess with this lineup, but I mean, do they even have the players for this race? In fact, let's go back to the other conference as well. The chalk parlay to win each conference. Carolina's minus 145, Colorado minus 125. Are they inevitable enough that you would take plus 204 on that parlay? Colorado's felt inevitable for months. They've been a short price to win the West for a long time.
What a strange game, though. I mean, that was...
Yeah. I mean, 15 goals, but every time they needed to find a goal, they found one.
I mean, 3-0, then they fall behind, and then they run them out. I mean, but that's...
Oh, Vientos is about to go yard for the Mets, is it? Nope, does he go out?
WTP.
Premature there, my bad.
I think this is the finals, though. I can't see the winner of Anaheim-Vegas putting a scare into Colorado.
How would you... Let's live in a world where and I know Mitch liked VGK last week at like 7-1 to win the Cup, and obviously shortening up now, but how'd you like to be Bruce Cassidy watching you coach this team for like 85, 90% of the season? Tortorella comes over, advances, beats Utah. What if they get past the Ducks? They go to the conference finals. We'll see what happens. But Tortorella, I believe 7-0-1 down the stretch to end the regular season. Correct. By my math, were they 11-2-1 overall since he took over?
Yeah.
I mean, he's been the head coach of just about every team in the league at this point, but it appears he knows what he's doing this time around.
Yeah. Carolina's going to beat Philly. They're just too good. And then do they face Montreal or Buffalo? Which it's so hard, and you can't be prisoner of the moment. But Tampa Bay dominated Game 7, and you get that fluke goal, although Montreal outplayed them for most of that series. And you got the great story with Buffalo that they finally win a series for the first time since 2007. But it's if Anderson plays like this, you don't have a chance.
And correct me if I'm wrong, but Buffalo expectations were not anything this year.
No way. They were
nothing
bad until they got hot in January.
Yeah, so it's all a recent run for them, which I guess that's what usually works in hockey, right? Just being hot at the right time, getting to the playoffs, getting the dance and do something here. I don't see how they get past Carolina. Made such easy work of Ottawa in round one. I feel like they've been waiting.
People liked Ottawa. They were playing well.
I feel like they've been waiting for 2 weeks to find out who they were playing.
No kidding. I mean, that's the other thing. You haven't even trailed. But it'd be huge if the Flyers can finally score in the first period or get the lead. Stankoven's shots on goal over 2.5. He's gone over that in all 5 playoff games. And I know Jonathan Davis threw out there pizza money 11-1, first goal of the game, as he's done it 4 of the first 5. Anderson is down to plus 750 for Conn Smythe. Second choice now.
Ooh.
To what he's Wedgwood 20-1. He was 150. Stankoven's 10-1. By the way, can I that guy who has the Stankoven, can you send that in for Pizzeria tomorrow? The guy had most goals, I think, and most points in the series against Ottawa. Those were big numbers.
Oh, wow.
He sent those tickets in on X. It'd be good to send in tomorrow as well. So that's where we're at with the hockey. And I know people like some Marner props as well. We have the doubleheader also in the NHL. Let me throw some other props at you in NBA. So we just had 3 series go 7. At DraftKings, you can bet how many series the rest of the way will go 7.
We had 3 already.
Yep.
All right. And then Thunder Lakers will not be going 7.
No chance.
T-Wolves Spurs could go 7. So we'll give that one like a half finger.
Okay.
Pistons Cavs could go 7.
No question.
We've got Knicks Sixers that can definitely go 7. Then it would be the Thunder against winner of T-Wolves Spurs absolutely can go 7. And then whoever wins Pistons or Cavs versus the Knicks or Sixers, that also can probably go 7. The final is probably the one that's not going where we had 7 or 8 series here, 7 series.
If it's San Antonio against the Knicks, maybe.
Yes.
But okay, right. So you can get to 8? Can you go? That's aggressive.
Yeah.
That'd be 5 more. That's 12-1.
What's 5?
2-1.
6?
Plus 180.
Speaking my language. 7?
4-1.
That's a big jump. I'd mess around with those last 2 right there. You could do
and
a
if
little
you think
7.
All right. And if you think there's only one more, plus 550.
No, it feels like doesn't it feel like there's a lot of parity in the league right now outside of the Thunder? Everyone other than Oklahoma City's pretty evenly matched.
You can make a case for every team in the East.
100%. Yeah. It's that's why the pricing doesn't make sense to me. I get that they have to set a favorite. If not, they're just going to take action on everyone. But you wouldn't be totally flabbergasted if the Sixers win this series. It'd be a surprise, don't get me wrong.
No. But they have talent.
Yeah, you wouldn't be shocked. They have the best player on the floor in this series.
Yeah. Second round road wins, 8.5, over plus 105. Home ice doesn't mean anything in hockey, but I could also see a lot of road wins here. OKC, good for 2.
Yeah, they're going to win.
Spurs could get 1 or 2.
100%.
And then I could see chaos in the other 2 series in the East.
Oh, well, we've seen the Knicks gave up home court to Atlanta last series. They're totally capable of playing with their food.
Yeah,
letting someone come
and
to
Detroit last year.
Absolutely
Happened against Detroit.
I don't hate that one. Where's that one at? Is that DK or
that's DK?
That's
8.5 over plus 105. Excellent.
Real quick, back to the hockey tonight.
Sure,
Ducks Knights over 6.5. Do we want to go over in that one with VGK's goalie issues?
That's what it says, but that's a big jump though.
Young feisty team from the Ducks. They don't play around here. Regular season, I believe it wasn't every game 4-3.
Yes, it was.
Every game 4-3 went to overtime, 2 out of 3. Anaheim did win the regular season 3-0, but I kind of like the over. I'm not a big hockey guy, but I would think about that over.
The other thing about the futures market, as I said, you were making the case, and I know it's a big Laker town, and you got the SoCal people that come in. The Lakers can't have better odds to win the title than the Sixers. They're going to have to beat the Thunder and the Spurs likely just to get there, and they don't have Luka.
I was watching during Game 6 because I was sitting there debating whether I take just a flyer small pizza money bet on Orlando or Philly to win the East. I believe it was. I want to say that they were both like 27-1. By the time the day was done, they were 20-1. Philly has a chance here. Philly's not. anyone who's got those Embiid MVP tickets for the Eastern Conference Finals or the Finals, I don't hate it. You can still get 11-1 Eastern Conference MVP.
I can't believe it. $100 on Kelce after Game 4 paid $10,000.
That's crazy.
Someone's got to have East to win the East and those type of tickets. Pizzeria tomorrow. FTM at vsin.com. What we're betting coming up next. Follow the money.
To determine the winner of any given college basketball game.
Someone gives you 10,000 to 1 on anything. You take it. Take it. Take it.
I bet you $20 I can get you gambling before the end of the day. No way. I'll give you 3-1 odds. Nope. 5-1. Nope. 10-1. You're up.
All right. You got a no-hitter. The Mets. Top of the fifth. Nothing going. Coors. No score.
Who knew the Mets' best starting pitcher was a bullpen game this year? They're patching it together at Colorado. They have not allowed a hit. And by the way, Colorado's only allowed one in the fifth inning.
You can bet that every day at Will Hill. Will there be a no-hitter? And will there be a grand slam? All right, some sick beats, some bad luck. It's hard enough trying to beat this sports betting, and then you just get the vicious beats that transpired. Soccer, winner. Oh, home run.
Carson Bench, home run.
1-0 Mets. Good guys. Championship League, winner with the parlay, Millwall and Ipswich Town. Great scene when Ipswich Town was promoted with their win 3-0. As they're going back up to the Prim, their fans stormed the pitch in record time. Derby County was a loser. Stevenage, winner. They get promoted, scored in the 90th minute. Cambridge made the playoffs. I think that's League 2. 0-0. Like everyone around them either lost or drew, and they like backed their way in. And MK Dons would have won League 2 if they won, and they had a tie. It's a perilous trade with the soccer because of the damn ties. So that was 1-1.
So un-American. So un-American.
Yeah. Cavs money line. That was game 6. That was flipped it. That was game 6. Raptors plus 4.5 was a winner. Magic plus 3.5 on Friday night. Unbelievable. I will never see that again. You score 19 points at home in a half, and you made one shot 11% in the second half. Up 24 and lost. Outscored 55-19. Also had the Magic 35-1 to win the East. I was cooking if they win that game. I mean, they had an excellent chance to beat the Cavs. Okay. Bruins plus 1.5 and to win the series. Excellent job by Buffalo to close them out. Vicious beat here. Shepard most threes in the series. He went 1 of 10 in game 6, and Hachimura with 5. And then Ayton comes out with 3 Dennis Rodman type performances to steal most rebounds from
the Şengün one is the most brutal of your losses here. How does DeAndre Ayton go from literally fumbling the basketball
and not playing
to dominating the glass?
Yep. Mammoth to win the series. Again, they led in the third period of every game until game 6, and they lose. And Tampa Bay.
I'll give you my heart medication. This is brutal.
Tampa Bay to win the series. They don't give up a shot on goal for the second period and allow 9 shots and lose at home 2-1. You got to be bleeping kidding me. And Rockets money line.
I mean,
that made they force a game 6. They were awesome defensively, and they no-show and were never in the game at home with Scott Foster.
I don't want to hear about Ime Udoka ever again. I don't want to hear defensive genius.
Kidding.
He stinks.
Absolutely. 70 points? That stretch between Atlanta's game 6, Orlando's game 6, and the Rockets game 6. Putrid. And then the Celtics said, hold my beer with Missoula. Check out this lineup, what we're going with. Okay, winner with game 1. Pep just said it. We're in trouble. Man City with the draw today to win the Prem. Tottenham, West Ham now favored to get relegated. Tottenham with a huge win yesterday. Magic to win the East, no good. Winner game 1, the alt-under with Carolina and the Flyers. Coming right back with that tonight, game 2. I don't see how the Flyers are going to score. Anderson is playing out of his mind. They're so good defensively. They also put it on you with this blitzkrieg, with the shot barrage and what they're doing. Again, the Flyers haven't scored a goal in the first period.
Would you go first period under
they
2?
They do that too. But Carolina got 2 in the last game. But 3-0 final in game 1, under 6, minus 160. Game 2 coming up in 10 minutes. And they have sold out of the beer skates with the drinking mugs. It was so popular. They have to hang up the skates. There won't be any more available for purchase the rest of the postseason. And that thing was incredible what they did. They sold 5,000 beer skates, mugs, during game 1. They had to cut it off. It was sold out by the second period. They went between $150 to $200. That now that they're sold out, but $12 at the game. Great marketing. Great job, guys. Well done.
All right, critical moment for my plays, and there are plenty that we'll get to here. Bo Bichette is about to come to the plate in Colorado, and the Mets 2-0 Mets lead, 6th inning. 2 on, nobody out. He should get a fastball. I bet him over hits, runs, RBI 2.5. I also bet him plus 630 to hit a homer in this game. But for the NBA, here's what I'm on. I got a bad number. You can get a better one now. 219.5. Timberwolves Spurs. I love the under in this one. Finch 6-3 to the under. First game of a playoff series. Mitch Johnson 4-1 to the under. This run, his first time in the playoffs. I am also on in that game. Let me just give you all the Minnesota Spurs one. Stephon Castle over 5.5 rebounds. He had 6 and 6 against Minnesota in the regular season. De'Aaron Fox over 17.5 points. The T-Wolves allow the 8th most points to point guards this season. He went over that in 2 of 3 games this year. Gobert over 1.5 assists. I just think with a limited Anthony Edwards, he's going to have to do a little bit more facilitating. And oh, by the way, you've got San Antonio allowing the 2nd most assists per game to centers, then Randall under 31.5 PRA. It's 29.5 now. I bet that when I thought Edwards wasn't playing. Now that Edwards is there, I think a lot gets taken away from Randall. I still like him under because it's a tough matchup going up against Wembanyama. In the Knicks and the Sixers, I'm on OG Anunoby over 25.5 PRA. He gets it done. He's their most balanced player. Over this 2 or 3 matchups with Philly this year, 5 of 6 in the Atlanta series. Last year in game 1s in the playoffs, over in 2 of 3. Bridges over 2.5 rebounds. He had 5, 3, 5, and 7 against the Sixers. I kind of want to ladder him, but I have so many plays today, I should probably stay away from that. Brunson under 6.5 assists. Cat's the point center.
Yes.
And I think
Ladder
maybe
cat. One more time, ladder cat.
It's more of a Brunson scoring effort than it is an assist effort. And that is it for the Knicks and the Sixers. I have baseball plays as well. A bunch of home run props. As that's not a home run from
you gotta get
Bichette. And it's not going to be an infield hit either. That's going to be a big loser on the board in Colorado. But we like Cam Schlittler over 6.5 strikeouts today.
Yes.
We're on the White Sox plus $1.35. I just think Davis Martin's hot, and I'm a bit concerned about Soriano.
Fair.
Looking at the Brewers Cardinals over 8. Kyle Leahy stinks this year. Milwaukee throws a bunch of lefties in their lineup. Opponent batting average versus Leahy's 317 this year. Bowers, Turang, Frelick, Mitchell. I took a shot on Bowers plus 490 to hit a home run. I'm also on the Dodgers team total against the Astros in a bullpen game. The Astros have the worst bullpen ERA in baseball.
Yes, they got to start hitting here.
So
it's ridiculous.
And then for home runs, I took a couple flyers here. I don't normally do these on the website, but Ian Happ, anytime home run, 3-1. Nathaniel Lowe, plus 470. Winds blowing out at Wrigley Field. And then Ellie De La Cruz in that game as well, plus 350 to hit a ding-dong at Wrigley Field.
Right. Smarter bets start here. Last all year long. VSiN Pro, limited time, annual subscription, normally $240, just $199 when you sign up today. We'll throw in 2 extra months free. 14 months of VSiN Pro, less than 50 cents a day. Promo code PRO. Every best bet, every host, every guest. Real-time DK and Circa betting splits. AI-powered prop tools, matchup analysis. VSiN.com/subscribe. Promo code PRO. 3-0 Tampa already. Wow, they are hot. And again, their pitching's been phenomenal. 3 earned runs or fewer, 10 in a row. They've won 9 of 10. Yankees have won 8 in a row against the Orioles. Yankees have won 13 of 15. And they've outscored Baltimore 57-18. You bet the Yankees honor Sterling?
Ooh.
Good angle. Do it for Sterling today.
They're just such a big, I think they're minus 220 right now. By the way, some more bad news out of Boston. Roman Anthony has left that game with Detroit. Not sure what the injury is, but 3rd inning, 0-0. Roman Anthony leaves the game apparently with an injury for the Sox.
Padres 8-2 last 10 in San Francisco. Giants' worst offense. Devers hasn't had a bomb in 21 games. Braves 25-10, haven't lost a series, 9-2 in openers. Dogs in Seattle. Cleveland's lost 6 in a row, started by Bybee. Cubbies have won 11 in a row at home as well. There's the beer skates. There it is. Almost sold 5,000.
I was trying to look up what you were talking
There
about.
it is,
Those
right
are
there.
sick.
Yeah. Isn't that well done?
They also have a very, I don't know why they feel more like from when we were kids era, the way that they're shaped for some reason. It feels very like 1990s-ish to me.
Yeah.
I'm into it.
Sure. Like the UFC guy who puts the beer in his shoe. Tuiasa, whatever.
Yeah, I don't understand that every time you put liquid in the shoe, doesn't the inside of the shoe absorb the liquid? What are you drinking at that point?
Mets with the lead.
Yeah, we'll see how
2-0.
this works out.
Two guys on.
Peterson's in the game. Anything can happen.
Hey, isn't this funny? Orlando fired Mosley today. The Pistons extended Bickerstaff.
And Ime Udoka's still employed.
Yeah.
By the way,
They might get Billy Donovan in Orlando.
Mosley wins
But-
that game. He keeps his job.
Probably, I know.
It's insane.
But yeah. And the funny thing is, Missoula's going to win Coach of the Year. That's going to be like when Dirk won MVP and they lost in the first round to the Warriors. That is going to be an awkward press conference presentation. We're back tomorrow. Derek Stevens. We'll talk more hockey and more serious. This is a phenomenal time of year. We'll recap everything as well. Good luck out there. Cash some tickets.